You're being spoken to right now. Every single moment of your life, there's a conversation happening. And most of us never hear it. We walk through our days with our heads down, our minds racing, our hearts closed, and we miss the most important messages we'll ever receive. The universe is trying to get your attention, but you keep hitting the ignore button. I want to talk to you today about something that changed everything for me, and I know it can change everything for you too. It's about learning to see what's right in front of you. It's about understanding that you're not alone in this life, that you're being guided, that there's an intelligence far greater than your thinking mind that's trying to lead you home. You see, most people live their entire lives in their heads. They're constantly thinking, analyzing, worrying, planning, regretting. And while they're doing all that mental gymnastics, they're missing the whispers. They're missing the signs. They're missing the guidance that's available to them every single day. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. You already know the answers to every question you've ever asked. Somewhere inside you, there's a knowing, there's a wisdom that doesn't come from books or teachers or experience. It comes from the same source that grows your hair and beats your heart. It's the intelligence of life itself, and it's been trying to reach you your whole life. But here's what happens. We get so caught up in the noise of the world that we can't hear the signal anymore. We turn on the television, we scroll through our phones, we fill every quiet moment with distraction, and we wonder why we feel lost. We wonder why we feel disconnected. We wonder why we can't find our purpose or our passion or our peace. The truth is, the universe is always sending you messages. Always. There are no exceptions to this. Whether you're aware of it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you're paying attention or not, the guidance is there, the signs are there, the synchronicities are there. The problem isn't that the universe isn't speaking. The problem is that we've forgotten how to listen. Think about the last time something happened that made you stop and say, "That's weird." Maybe you were thinking about an old friend and they called you out of the blue. Maybe you needed an answer to a problem and you opened a book to the exact page that had the solution. Maybe you kept seeing the same number everywhere you looked. Maybe you had a feeling in your gut that told you not to get on that plane or not to take that job or not to trust that person. And later you found out your intuition was right. These aren't coincidences. There's no such thing as coincidence. Every single thing that happens in your life is part of a bigger pattern, a bigger plan, a bigger purpose. And when you start to see this, when you start to recognize the signs, your whole life begins to transform. Now, I know some of you are skeptical. Your rational mind is saying, come on, this is just wishful thinking. This is just people seeing patterns where there are none. This is just confirmation bias. And I understand that. I used to think the same way. But here's what I learned. Your rational mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master. It's great for solving math problems and building bridges and organizing your day, but it's absolutely terrible at understanding the mysteries of life. There's a part of you that's beyond your thinking mind. There's a part of you that existed before you were born and will exist after you die. There's a part of you that's connected to everything and everyone in the universe. And that part of you is constantly receiving information, constantly receiving guidance, constantly receiving signs. The problem is we've been taught to ignore this part of ourselves. We've been taught that if we can't see it, measure it, or prove it scientifically, it doesn't exist. We've been taught to trust only our five senses and our logical mind, and in doing so, we've cut ourselves off from the most powerful source of wisdom we have. Let me tell you about the signs the universe sends you. The first and most common sign is repetition. When something keeps showing up in your life over and over again, pay attention. It might be a word, a phrase, a symbol, a person, a situation. The universe doesn't give up easily. If you miss the message the first time, it'll send it again and again and again. Each time it gets a little louder, a little more obvious, until finally you either get it or you face a crisis that forces you to get it. I've seen this in my own life countless times. There was a period when I kept seeing butterflies everywhere, on television, in magazines, on people's clothing, in my yard. At first, I didn't think much of it, but the butterflies kept coming. And then I learned that in many spiritual traditions, butterflies represent transformation. They represent the death of the old self and the birth of the new. And when I looked at my life at that time, I realized I was in the middle of a major transformation. I was letting go of old beliefs, old patterns, old ways of being. The universe was confirming for me that I was on the right path. But here's the thing. If I hadn't been paying attention, I would have missed it. If I had been too busy or too distracted or too skeptical, those butterflies would have just been butterflies, nothing more. And I would have missed the reassurance, the confirmation, the guidance that was being offered to me. The second sign the universe sends you is contrast. This is when you experience something you don't want, and it helps you clarify what you do want. Most people hate contrast. They think it's punishment or bad luck or evidence that they're doing something wrong. But contrast is one of the greatest gifts you can receive. It's the universe showing you what you don't want so you can get clear about what you do want. Every negative experience you've ever had has within it the seed of equal or greater benefit. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every failure, every loss, they're all teaching you something. They're all guiding you somewhere. They're all preparing you for something. But you have to be willing to look for the lesson. You have to be willing to ask, what is this here to teach me? What is this here to show me? How is this serving my growth? When you start asking those questions, everything changes. Suddenly, you're not a victim anymore. You're not at the mercy of random events and circumstances. You're a student of life. You're learning, you're growing, you're evolving, and every experience, no matter how painful, becomes valuable. The third sign the universe sends you is intuition. This is that quiet voice inside you that knows things you have no logical way of knowing. It's that feeling in your gut that tells you something is right or wrong. It's that sense of knowing that comes over you when you meet someone for the first time. It's that pull you feel towards certain places or opportunities or people. Your intuition is your direct connection to the infinite intelligence of the universe. It's not based on logic or past experience or learned knowledge. It's based on something far greater. It's based on the wisdom of your soul. And it's always right. Always. The problem is we've been taught to override it with our thinking mind. How many times have you had a gut feeling about something and ignored it? How many times have you known something was wrong but talked yourself into it anyway? How many times have you felt pulled in a certain direction but went the opposite way because it didn't make sense logically? And then later you look back and said, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done that. I had a feeling. Your intuition is one of the most powerful forms of guidance you have, but you have to learn to trust it. You have to learn to distinguish it from fear, from conditioning, from the voice of your ego. And the only way to do that is to practice. Start small. When you get a feeling about something, honor it. Even if it doesn't make sense, even if you can't explain it, even if other people think you're crazy, honor it and watch what happens. The fourth sign the universe sends you is through other people. The people who come into your life are not random. They're mirrors, they're teachers, they're messengers. Some come to show you what you need to heal. Some come to show you what you're ready to become. Some come to challenge you. Some come to support you. Some come to love you. Some come to leave you. But they all come for a reason. When someone triggers you, when someone pushes your buttons, when someone makes you angry or hurt or defensive, they're showing you something about yourself that needs to be healed. They're showing you where you're still holding on to pain, where you're still carrying wounds, where you're still living in fear. This is a gift, though it rarely feels like one in the moment. And when someone inspires you, when someone lights you up, when someone makes you feel alive and excited and full of possibility, they're showing you what's possible for you. They're reflecting back to you your own potential, because you can only recognize in others what already exists within you. If you see greatness in someone else, it's because you have greatness in you. If you see courage or wisdom or love or creativity in someone else, it's because those qualities are already alive in you, waiting to be expressed. The fifth sign the universe sends you is through obstacles and challenges. This is perhaps the most misunderstood form of guidance. When something doesn't work out the way you planned, when a door closes, when you face a setback or a disappointment, Most people think the universe is working against them, but the opposite is true. The universe is always working for you, never against you. Sometimes what looks like a closed door is actually the universe protecting you from something that's not in your highest good. Sometimes what looks like a failure is actually the universe redirecting you towards something better. Sometimes what looks like an ending is actually a new beginning in disguise. I've had so many experiences in my life where something I desperately wanted didn't work out, and at the time I was devastated. I couldn't understand why it wasn't happening. I felt like the universe was punishing me or ignoring me or proving that I wasn't good enough. But years later, I could look back and see that if that thing had worked out, I would have missed something far more important. I would have taken the wrong path. I would have settled for less than what was truly meant for me. The universe has a much bigger perspective than you do. It can see the whole picture while you can only see the tiny piece you're standing in. It knows where you're going even when you don't. It knows what you need even when you think you want something else. And it will move heaven and earth to guide you toward your highest good, even if that means temporarily disappointing you or making you uncomfortable. The sixth sign the universe sends you is through your body. Your body is constantly communicating with you, giving you feedback about your thoughts, your emotions, your choices, your environment. But most people are completely disconnected from their bodies. They live entirely in their heads and wonder why they're always sick or tired or in pain. Your body never lies. When you're thinking thoughts that don't serve you, your body tenses up. When you're in environments that aren't good for you, your body feels heavy. When you're with people who drain you, your body contracts. When you're doing work that doesn't align with your purpose, your body rebels. It gives you headaches, stomach aches, back pain, fatigue. It's trying to get your attention. It's trying to tell you something needs to change. And on the flip side, when you're aligned with your truth, your body feels light and energized. When you're following your passion, your body feels alive. When you're expressing your authentic self, your body feels at ease. Your body is always pointing you toward what's right for you and away from what's not. But we've been taught to override our bodies. We push through fatigue. We ignore pain. We numb ourselves with food, alcohol, medication, entertainment. We treat our bodies like machines that need to be controlled rather than as wise guides that deserve to be listened to. Start paying attention to how your body feels. When you're about to make a decision, check in with your body. Does it feel expansive or contracting? Does it feel light or heavy? Does it feel open or closed? Your body knows the answer before your mind does. The seventh sign the universe sends you is through nature. Nature is one of the most powerful teachers we have, yet most people spend their entire lives disconnected from it. We live in boxes, work in boxes, drive between boxes and metal boxes, and wonder why we feel so disconnected from life. But when you spend time in nature, when you really pay attention, you'll notice that nature is constantly showing you how to live. The seasons teach you about cycles, about letting go, about rest and renewal. The trees teach you about standing strong while remaining flexible. The water teaches you about flow and adaptation. The birds teach you about trust and freedom. The flowers teach you about beauty and impermanence. Nature also sends you very specific messages through animal encounters. Different animals carry different energies, different lessons, different meanings. When an animal crosses your path, especially in an unusual way or at an unusual time, pay attention. Look up the symbolic meaning of that animal. See if the message resonates with what's happening in your life right now. I remember a time when I was going through a particularly difficult period. I was feeling stuck and frustrated and didn't know which way to turn. And then one morning a deer appeared in my yard and just stood there, looking at me through the window. We locked eyes for what felt like several minutes. And when I looked up the symbolic meaning of deer, I learned that it represents gentleness, grace, and the ability to move through life with ease and confidence. The message was clear. Stop forcing, stop struggling, stop trying to control everything. Move through this situation with gentleness and trust, and the path will reveal itself. And that's exactly what happened. As soon as I stopped trying to force a solution, and instead approached the situation with gentleness and trust, everything fell into place effortlessly. The eighth sign the universe sends you is through dreams. Your dreams are not just random firings of neurons while you sleep. They're messages from your subconscious mind, from your soul, from the universe itself. They're showing you things you can't see in your waking life. They're processing emotions and experiences. They're revealing hidden truths. They're offering solutions to problems. They're preparing you for what's coming. But most people don't pay attention to their dreams. They wake up, shake them off, and immediately start thinking about their to-do list for the day. And in doing so, they miss profound guidance and insight. Start keeping a dream journal. Write down your dreams as soon as you wake up, before you forget them. Look for recurring themes, symbols, people, places. Look for the emotions you felt in the dream. Look for the message underneath the literal content of the dream. Some of the greatest insights I've ever received have come through dreams. I've had dreams that warned me about situations I needed to avoid. I've had dreams that showed me solutions to problems I'd been struggling with for months. I've had dreams that revealed things about myself I wasn't consciously aware of. I've had dreams that connected me to loved ones who had passed away. Your dreams are a direct line to the wisdom of your unconscious mind and beyond. The ninth sign the universe sends you is through what you're drawn to. The things that attract you, that fascinate you, that light you up, that you can't stop thinking about. These are not random. They're clues to your purpose, your passion, your path. The universe is showing you where you're meant to go, what you're meant to do, who you're meant to become. But most people ignore their natural interests and inclinations because they don't seem practical or profitable or respectable enough. They pursue careers that make sense logically or that please their parents or that offer security, all while their souls are dying inside because they're not expressing their true nature. Your interests are sacred. They're not frivolous or selfish or indulgent. They're breadcrumbs leading you home. They're the universe saying, this way. Your purpose is in this direction. Your joy is in this direction. Your contribution is in this direction. What did you love to do as a child before the world told you what you should do? What activities make you lose track of time? What subjects can you talk about for hours without getting bored? What problems do you see in the world that you feel called to solve? What kind of people do you feel drawn to serve? These are all signs pointing you toward your purpose. The 10th sign the universe sends you is through synchronicities. These are the meaningful coincidences that seem too perfect to be random. You think of someone and they call. You need an answer and you turn on the radio and hear exactly what you needed to hear. You're struggling with a decision and a stranger says something that gives you clarity. You're looking for a new job and the perfect opportunity appears out of nowhere. Synchronicities are the universe's way of showing you that you're on the right track, that you're connected to something greater, that there's an intelligence orchestrating events behind the scenes. They're proof that you're not alone, that you're being supported, that life is far more magical and mysterious than your rational mind can comprehend. The more you pay attention to synchronicities, the more they happen. It's like the universe says, oh, you're finally noticing. Let me send you more. And your life becomes a constant flow of magic and wonder and perfect timing. But you have to be present to notice them. You have to be awake. You have to be paying attention. Because if you're lost in your thoughts, if you're rushing through life on autopilot, if you're always looking at your phone or lost in worry about the future or regret about the past, you'll miss them. Now, I want to talk about why we ignore these signs, because that's the real question, isn't it? If the universe is constantly sending us guidance, if the signs are always there, why do we keep missing them? Why do we keep making the same mistakes? Why do we keep feeling lost and confused? The first reason is fear. We're afraid of what the signs might be telling us. We're afraid we might have to make changes we don't want to make. We're afraid we might have to leave the comfortable, familiar life we've built, even if it's not making us happy. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of what other people will think. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of success. We're afraid of our own power. So we pretend we don't see the signs. We rationalize them away. We tell ourselves stories about why they don't matter, or why they don't apply to us, or why we can't follow them. And we stay stuck in lives that don't fit us anymore, all because we're too afraid to listen to the guidance we're being given. The second reason we ignore the signs is conditioning. We've been taught that life is hard, that we have to struggle, that we can't trust ourselves, that we need external authority to tell us what to do and how to live. We've been taught to value logic over intuition, thinking over feeling, doing over being. We've been taught that if something can't be measured or proven, it's not real. This conditioning runs so deep that even when we intellectually understand that there's more to life than what we can see with our physical eyes, we still can't bring ourselves to trust the guidance we're receiving. We second guess ourselves. We look for proof. We need confirmation from outside sources. And in doing so, we give away our power to people and institutions that know nothing about our soul's purpose. The third reason we ignore the signs is distraction. We're so busy, so overscheduled, so overwhelmed with responsibilities and obligations and commitments that we have no space in our lives for reflection, for stillness, for listening. We fill every moment with activity, with noise, with stimulation. And the signs require stillness to be noticed. They require presence. They require space. You can't hear the whispers of the universe when you're constantly running. You can't receive guidance when you're always doing. You can't notice the signs when your attention is fragmented into 1,000 different directions. This is why meditation is so powerful, not because it makes the signs appear, they're always appearing, but because it creates the inner stillness necessary to notice them. It quiets the chatter of the thinking mind so you can hear the voice of your intuition. It creates space in your consciousness for wisdom to arise. But meditation doesn't have to be sitting cross-legged on a cushion for an hour a day. It can be walking in nature. It can be sitting quietly with your morning coffee. It can be taking 3 conscious breaths before you get out of bed. It can be turning off your phone and just being with yourself for 10 minutes. Anything that creates a pause, a gap, a moment of stillness where you can reconnect with yourself. The fourth reason we ignore the signs is because we think we know better. We have our plans, our goals, our ideas about how our life is supposed to unfold, and when the universe sends us signs that suggest a different direction, we ignore them because they don't fit with our agenda. But here's what I've learned. Your plans are based on your limited perspective, your conditioned beliefs, your ego's desires. The universe's plans for you are based on infinite wisdom, perfect timing, and your soul's highest purpose. And trust me, the universe's plans are always better than yours. This doesn't mean you shouldn't have goals or intentions. It means you need to hold them lightly. You need to be willing to adjust them as new information comes in. You need to be willing to let go of what you think should happen in order to allow what wants to happen. There's an old saying, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And it's true. Life has a sense of humor about our attempts to control everything. But when you can relax your grip, when you can trust the process, when you can follow the signs, even when they lead you in unexpected directions, life becomes so much easier, so much more joyful, so much more magical. The fifth reason we ignore the signs is because we don't believe we deserve guidance. Deep down, many of us feel unworthy. We feel like we're not special enough, not spiritual enough, not good enough to receive divine guidance. We think that kind of thing is only for enlightened masters or saints or special chosen people, not for ordinary folks like us. But this couldn't be further from the truth. The universe doesn't play favorites. The guidance is available to everyone, always, without exception. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to prove yourself. You just have to be willing to receive it. You are a piece of the divine expressing itself in human form. You are connected to the same source that creates galaxies and grows trees and orchestrates the seasons. The same intelligence that beats your heart and grows your hair is available to guide your life. And it wants to guide you It's not withholding guidance because you're not good enough. It's offering guidance constantly. And the only question is whether you're willing to receive it. So how do you start paying attention to the signs? How do you develop this awareness? How do you learn to listen to the universe? The first step is to make the decision that you want to. That might sound obvious, but it's crucial. You have to consciously choose to pay attention. You have to make it a priority. You have to tell the universe, I'm listening. I'm paying attention. I'm ready to receive your guidance. And when you make that declaration, when you set that intention, the universe responds. The signs become clearer. The synchronicities become more frequent. The guidance becomes more obvious. It's like tuning a radio to a specific station. Once you're on the right frequency, the signal comes in loud and clear. The second step is to create space in your life for stillness and reflection. This is non-negotiable. You cannot receive guidance when your life is nothing but constant noise and activity. You need time to be quiet, to be alone, to check in with yourself. Start your day with even just 5 minutes of silence. Don't reach for your phone. Don't turn on the television. Don't immediately start thinking about everything you have to do. Just sit in stillness and set an intention to be guided through your day. And end your day with reflection. Review what happened. Notice what stood out. Look for patterns. Ask yourself what you learned. Thank the universe for the guidance you received, even if you didn't recognize it at the time. The third step is to trust your intuition. When you get a feeling about something, honor it. When you have a sense about a person or situation, trust it. When you feel pulled in a certain direction, follow it, even if it doesn't make logical sense, even if you can't explain it, even if other people question it. Your intuition is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. The more you trust it, the clearer it becomes. Start with small things. What route should I take to work today? What should I eat for lunch? Should I call this person or wait? Use your intuition for these simple decisions and notice what happens. Build your confidence in your inner guidance system. The fourth step is to pay attention to what shows up repeatedly in your life. Keep a journal of the signs you notice. Write down synchronicities. Write down dreams. Write down intuitive hits. Write down things that keep appearing. Write down messages you receive through other people, through books, through conversations. When you start documenting the signs, patterns will emerge. You'll begin to see how the universe has been speaking to you all along. You'll begin to see the threads that connect seemingly random events. You'll begin to see that your life is far more orchestrated than you ever imagined. The fifth step is to ask for signs. That's right, you can actually request specific guidance from the universe. Before you go to sleep at night, you can say, show me what I need to know about this situation, or give me a sign about whether this decision is right for me, or help me understand what I'm supposed to be learning from this challenge. And then pay attention to what shows up. It might come in a dream. It might come through something someone says to you. It might come through a book that falls off the shelf. It might come through a song on the radio. The universe is always listening, and when you ask, you will receive an answer. But you have to be watching for it. The sixth step is to let go of attachment to how the guidance should appear. Don't expect burning bushes or voices from the sky. The universe usually speaks in whispers, not shouts. It's usually subtle, not obvious. It requires you to pay attention, to be present, to be awake. And don't discount a sign just because it's simple or ordinary. The most profound messages often come through the most mundane circumstances. That chance encounter in the grocery store, that billboard you happen to look at, that book a friend mentioned, that uncomfortable situation that forced you to grow. All of these are the universe communicating with you. The seventh step is to act on the guidance you receive. This is where most people drop the ball. They get the sign, they recognize it, they understand it, and then they do nothing. They go back to their old patterns, their old habits, their old way of being. But guidance that's not acted upon is guidance wasted. The universe doesn't send you signs just for your entertainment. It sends you signs to prompt action, to inspire change, to move you forward on your path. And when you act on the guidance, more guidance comes. When you demonstrate that you're listening, the universe gives you more to listen to. This doesn't always mean taking big dramatic action. Sometimes the guidance is simply to be patient. Sometimes it's to let go. Sometimes it's to have a conversation you've been avoiding. Sometimes it's to make a change in how you're thinking or speaking or treating yourself. But whatever the guidance is, honor it, follow it, trust it. Now here's something important to understand. Following the signs doesn't mean your life will become easy or problem-free. It doesn't mean you'll never face challenges or disappointments or pain. What it means is that you'll be on the right path. You'll be aligned with your purpose. You'll be living from your truth. And that alignment makes everything feel different, even the difficult things. When you're following your true path, when you're listening to your inner guidance, when you're in harmony with the universe, challenges become opportunities for growth rather than evidence of failure. Obstacles become redirections rather than dead ends. Pain becomes a teacher rather than an enemy. Everything that happens serves your evolution. And here's the really beautiful part. When you start living this way, when you start paying attention to the signs, when you start trusting the guidance, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon of possibility. You show people that there's another way to live, a more conscious way, a more connected way, a more magical way. Your willingness to trust yourself, to trust life, to trust the universe gives permission to everyone around you to do the same. This is how we change the world, one awakened person at a time. Not by preaching or convincing or forcing, but simply by being an example of what's possible when you live in alignment with your truth. Let me be clear about something. I'm not suggesting that you give up all responsibility and just wait for signs to tell you what to do. You still have to show up for your life. You still have to do the work. You still have to make choices and take action and face consequences. The universe will guide you, but it won't do the work for you. Think of it like this. The universe is like a GPS system for your life. It can show you the best route to your destination. It can alert you to obstacles ahead. It can suggest alternative paths when you hit a roadblock. It can even recalculate when you take a wrong turn. But you're still the one driving the car. You're still the one who has to turn the wheel and press the gas pedal and pay attention to the road. The guidance is there to support you, not to replace your own effort and engagement with life. It's a partnership between you and the universe, between your human self and your divine self, between your will and a higher will. And sometimes the guidance will ask you to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or don't make logical sense. That's when trust becomes really important. That's when you have to be willing to take a leap of faith, to step into the unknown, to risk looking foolish or failing or being wrong. But I can tell you from my own experience and from watching thousands of people over the years, every time you trust the guidance, every time you follow the signs, even when it's hard, you're rewarded. Not always immediately, not always in the way you expected, but always in a way that serves your highest good. There have been times in my life when I was guided to leave a comfortable situation, to walk away from something that looked good on paper but didn't feel right in my soul. And every single time, what looked like a loss turned out to be the doorway to something far better. Every single time, what felt like a risk turned out to be the safest thing I could have done. Every single time, trusting the guidance led me exactly where I needed to go. This is what faith really means. Not blind belief in a religious doctrine, not hoping that some external deity will rescue you, but trust in the intelligence of life itself. Trust that you're being guided. Trust that you're not alone. Trust that there's a bigger plan unfolding and you're a crucial part of it. And when you live with this kind of trust, something miraculous happens. Fear starts to dissolve. Anxiety starts to lift. That constant sense of struggling and striving and forcing begins to ease. You realize you don't have to figure everything out. You don't have to control everything. You don't have to protect yourself from everything. Because you're being taken care of. You're being led. You're being loved by a force that's infinitely wiser and more powerful than your small self. This doesn't make you passive or complacent. If anything, it makes you more engaged, more present, more alive, because you're not wasting energy on worry and resistance and trying to manipulate outcomes. You're free to focus on what's right in front of you. You're free to give your full attention to this moment, this choice, this action. And that's really where your power is. Not in trying to control the future, not in regretting the past, but in being fully present right here, right now, paying attention to what is, responding to what's being asked of you, following the guidance that's available to you in this very moment. The universe is speaking to you right now. As you read these words, as you reflect on your life, as you sit with these ideas, there's guidance coming through. There's a knowing arising. There's something inside you saying, yes, this is true. I recognize this. I remember this. That voice, that knowing, that resonance, that's the sign. That's the universe confirming that you're on the right track. That this message is for you. That it's time to start paying attention. You don't have to believe everything I'm saying. You don't have to take my word for it. But I invite you to experiment. I invite you to test it out. For the next week, just pay attention. Notice what shows up in your life. Notice the coincidences. Notice your intuitive feelings. Notice what you're drawn to. Notice what keeps repeating. Keep a simple journal of what you observe. And at the end of the week, look back over your notes and see if you can find any patterns, any messages, any guidance. I think you'll be surprised by what you find. I think you'll realize that you've been receiving signs all along. You just weren't paying attention to them. And once you start paying attention, once you start recognizing the signs, once you start trusting the guidance, your life will never be the same. You'll feel more connected, more purposeful, more alive. You'll make better decisions. You'll waste less time on paths that aren't meant for you. You'll find your way more easily through challenges and transitions. Most importantly, you'll stop feeling alone. You'll realize that you're part of something vast and intelligent and loving. You'll realize that you matter, that your life has meaning, that you're here for a reason. And that reason is being revealed to you every single day through the signs the universe sends you. All you have to do is pay attention. All you have to do is listen. All you have to do is trust. The guidance is there. The signs are there. The support is there. It always has been and it always will be. The only question is, are you ready to receive it? Your life is waiting to unfold in the most beautiful way. Your purpose is waiting to be expressed. Your soul is waiting to come fully alive, and the universe is ready to show you the way. Stop ignoring the signs. Stop dismissing the guidance. Stop pretending you don't know what you know. Start trusting yourself. Start trusting life. Start trusting the intelligence that created you and sustains you and loves you more than you can possibly comprehend. This is your invitation. This is your wake-up call. This is the sign you've been waiting for, telling you that yes, it's real. Yes, you're being guided. Yes, you can trust it. The universe is speaking to you right now, always, forever. Are you listening? You know what I find fascinating? Most people spend their entire lives searching for answers outside themselves. They read book after book, attend seminar after seminar, consult expert after expert, looking for someone to tell them what to do, how to live, where to go. And all the while, the answers they're seeking are already within them, waiting to be recognized. The signs the universe sends you aren't coming from some distant place in the sky. They're coming through you. You are the instrument through which the universe expresses itself. You are the channel through which divine intelligence flows. You are not separate from the source of all wisdom. You are an extension of it. This means that when you receive guidance, when you notice a sign, when you feel an intuitive pull, you're not receiving information from something outside you. You're remembering what your soul already knows. You're accessing the wisdom that's encoded in your very being. You're tapping into the same intelligence that orchestrates the entire cosmos. And here's what makes this so powerful. When you understand that you're not separate from the source of guidance, when you realize that you are the universe expressing itself as you, everything changes. You stop looking outside yourself for validation. You stop giving your power away to external authorities. You stop waiting for permission to live your truth. You begin to trust yourself in a whole new way. Not the small self, the ego self, the conditioned self, but your true self. The self that existed before you were taught who you should be. The self that knows why you're here and what you came to do. The self that's connected to everything and everyone. This is what it means to wake up. Not to acquire new information or achieve some elevated state, but simply to remember who you really are. To strip away all the layers of conditioning and fear and false belief that have covered over your true nature. To come home to yourself. And the signs are helping you do this. Every single sign you receive is an invitation to remember. Every synchronicity is a reminder that you're connected to something greater. Every intuitive hit is evidence of your own inner knowing. Every obstacle that redirects you is life itself, steering you toward your authentic path. But here's something most people don't understand. The signs don't just guide you toward external circumstances or opportunities. They also guide you toward your own healing. They show you where you're still holding on to old wounds, old patterns, old stories that no longer serve you. When the same type of situation keeps showing up in your life, when you keep attracting the same kind of people or facing the same kind of challenges, that's not bad luck. That's the universe giving you another opportunity to heal something, to learn something, to grow through something you haven't fully processed yet. Most people get frustrated when this happens. They say, why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep ending up in the same situation? But the real question is, what am I being asked to heal here? What pattern am I being shown? What belief am I being invited to release? Your repeated patterns are not punishments, they're opportunities. They're the universe being incredibly patient with you, offering you chance after chance to finally break free from what's been holding you back. And the moment you get the lesson, the moment you heal what needs to be healed, the pattern stops. The same situation stops showing up. You graduate to the next level of your evolution. This is why resistance is so painful. When you fight against what's showing up in your life, when you avoid the lessons, when you blame external circumstances or other people for your struggles, you stay stuck. You keep repeating the same cycle over and over. But when you lean in, when you get curious, when you ask what you're meant to learn, everything shifts. The pain transforms into wisdom. The struggle transforms into strength. The wound transforms into a gift. And here's another layer to this. The signs don't just come when you're ready for them. Sometimes they come before you're ready, preparing you for what's ahead. The universe knows what's coming in your life before you do. It knows what challenges you'll face, what opportunities will present themselves, what transformations you'll go through. And it starts preparing you in advance. Have you ever looked back on a difficult period in your life and realized that you were being prepared for it years earlier? That you had developed exactly the skills or strength or wisdom you needed right when you needed them? That's not coincidence. That's the universe setting you up for success, even when you couldn't see the bigger picture. This is why you can't always understand the signs in the moment. Sometimes their meaning only becomes clear in retrospect. Sometimes you have to trust that even though you don't understand why something is happening, even though it doesn't make sense right now, it's all part of a larger unfolding that you'll eventually be able to see. It requires tremendous trust. It requires a willingness to be okay with not knowing. It requires faith that life is happening for you, not to you. It requires believing that you're being guided even when you can't see where the path is leading. And I'll be honest with you, this is one of the hardest things for people to do. We want certainty. We want guarantees. We want to know that if we follow the signs, everything will work out exactly the way we want it to. But life doesn't work that way. Following the signs doesn't mean you get everything you want. It means you get everything you need for your highest evolution. Sometimes what you need is challenge. Sometimes what you need is loss. Sometimes what you need is to have your plans completely disrupted so you can discover a path you never would have considered. Sometimes what you need is to be broken open so your heart can expand. Sometimes what you need is to fail at what you thought you wanted so you can succeed at what you're actually meant to do. The universe isn't concerned with your comfort. It's concerned with your growth. It's concerned with your awakening. It's concerned with you fulfilling your purpose and expressing your full potential. And sometimes that requires discomfort. Sometimes that requires being pushed out of your nest so you can learn to fly. But here's the beautiful thing. Even in the midst of difficulty, even when you're going through something painful or challenging, the signs are still there. The guidance is still available. The support is still present. You're never alone in your struggles. You're never abandoned in your dark nights. The universe is always there, always speaking, always offering you what you need to get through whatever you're facing. And you just have to remember to look for it. You have to remember to ask for it. You have to remember that help is available if you're willing to receive it. And receiving is an art in itself. Most of us are much better at giving than receiving. We're better at helping others than being helped. We're better at offering support than accepting it. But the universe is constantly trying to give to you, and if you're not open to receiving, you block the flow. Receiving means being willing to accept help when it's offered. It means being willing to let things be easy sometimes. It means being willing to acknowledge that you don't have to do everything yourself. It means being humble enough to admit that you don't have all the answers and wise enough to recognize wisdom when it appears. The signs are a form of receiving. They're life-giving to you. They're the universe offering you guidance, support, wisdom, love, and all you have to do is be open to receiving them. All you have to do is say yes. So let me leave you with this. Your life is not random. Your experiences are not meaningless. Your struggles are not pointless. Everything you've been through, everything you're going through, everything that's yet to come is all part of a magnificent design, and you're being guided through it all. The signs are there. They've always been there. They will always be there. The only question is whether you'll pay attention, whether you'll trust, whether you'll follow where they lead. Your soul knows the way home. Your heart knows what's true. Your body knows what it needs. Your intuition knows what's right. All the wisdom you seek is already within you, waiting to be recognized. Stop searching outside yourself. Stop looking for someone else to tell you who you are and what you should do. Come home to yourself. Listen to yourself. Trust yourself. You are the answer you've been looking for.